Hey, and welcome to another Shadow Era stream. Today, of course, is another dev day. Something new. Today we're going to be working on the new campaign card. And I know you're saying, but Kyle, we just got a lot of new cards. But no, there is more. Campaign cards, there's actually going to be 26 new campaign cards. 26 new campaign cards in about a month. And today I'm going to be programming some of those. This, of course, is the Unity game editor where I can run the game and modify stuff in real time. I think I'm just going to start by giving a spoiler of the first few campaign cards that I'm going to work on. This, of course, was my tweaked Boris deck that I had pretty good success with yesterday, doing some multiplayer matches. The first campaign card is going to be called Hack Outcast. Of course, that's not the final art. We have 4 weeks to get the art, and the art is starting to trickle in. Something you might notice, it's an ally, but it's a multi-class ally. This ally can be used by only warrior or woman hero. Hack Outcast has ambush and defender. While he is the only ally you control, he has +2 attack while he has been targeted by an ability this turn. If anybody targets him, you, the opponent, is gonna get a buff, +attack. And if he's the only guy, he has ambush and defender. That could be useful, especially at cost 2. 2/5, that seems like a great... With warriors, I might actually use this in my deck, but I was sticking to really Twilights. Let me give myself some resources so I can make some room for some more cards here. The next one, of course, card number 2. Keeper of the Mystic Flame. That's going to be for mages and priests. When an opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn, its controller takes 1 fire damage. So another card that's triggered by targeting. When an opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn, so if you target someone with a fireball, its controller takes 1 fire damage. If you target an ally with a fireball, the ally's hero will take 1 extra damage. And for 0 shadow energy, an opposing ally was targeted by an ability this turn. 2 used resources are renewed for 0. So this is a pretty good card for cost 4. Compared to the normal cost 4. 0 shadow energy, 2/5. Seems pretty good for both mages and priests. Let's get another one. Lightning Elemental for mages and elemental. When Lightning Elemental is killed, the opposing ally with the lowest health takes X electrical damage, where X is the amount of shadow energy your hero has stored, a maximum of 4. Whoa. Opposing ally with the lowest health takes however many shadow energy you have. So that's, but it's only when it's killed, but cost 2. I mean, it's useful to kill off any allies that are on board, up to 4 damage. Certainly for cost 2, that might make it into some decks. Just gonna make some more space. Number 4. Slithering Viper for hunters and rogues. Stealth, okay. When Slithering Viper enters play or when it is discarded from anywhere, for rogues of course, the opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned and is disabled for 1 turn. Poisoned and disabled when it enters play. That's huge. And stealth. It's a pretty good control. 2/5 for cost of 4. It's another nice card. Certainly could find a home in a few decks. The fifth one, Arcane Anomaly. For priests and elementals, when Arcane Anomaly is summoned, target opposing ally takes 1+X arcane damage, where X is the number of other cards you have summoned this turn. Ooh. So you want to play this. Maybe late in the game you summon some other cards and then play this. Target opposing ally takes 1+X damage. So for a cost of 3, it's 2/5. So that could be an interesting combo. So on summon damage is always kind of significant. And last one, Crimson Eye the Deceiver. We actually have the art for this ready, but I didn't put it in. Rogue and Woven. He is a Woven tribe, unique. So it is going to be a Woven art. Ambush, always good. For 2 resources, until the end of your turn, when Crimson Eye deals combat damage to an opposing ally, that ally attacks another random opposing ally if able. So you do combat damage to an ally, you don't kill him, that ally is going to attack one of his friends. That's pretty huge for costing 5. That could cause some chaos. Of course, it is a random ally, so there's a bit of chance in there. So these are the 6 cards that we're going to be working on actually implementing today in code. Let's start with number 1. Here we go. I have all the campaign codes up here. Here we have the text of the card. So number 1 was Pack Outcast. Common rarity. I think all of these are just common for now. We'll probably tweak the rarity at a later date. This is Woven. Woven and Warrior. It's a usable buy. I'm gonna make it Warrior and Woven. These are the deck building restrictions. An ally, and it has Woven subtype. Then I have a claw attack. Claw attack, and the stats are 2, 1, 4. So that's just this line. Warrior and Woven. Oh, we should put the name that shows up properly. Pack Outcast. Just leave it common rarity for now. Claw attack 2 and 4. And then the ability. Ambush and Defender while he's the only ally you control. The way Shadow Arrow works is there are a bunch of callbacks issued to all cards in play. One of these callbacks is check has ambush. Basically, every card that's in play, it calls this function and it's asking, does a certain card have ambush? This card only cares about itself, so if check is not equal to the parent, we're going to return no, which is the default. No, it doesn't have ambush. False. Return false. Eventually we're going to return true. It does have ambush, but there are a few more conditions. You always have to check that we can actually use passive abilities, because sometimes the passive abilities won't get turned off. Check its passive abilities. So if ourselves can use passive abilities, if we can't, then we have to return false. Won't have ambush. What else? While he is the only ally you control. If he is the only ally you control, that means allies count on his side. Not equal to just one. If there's more than one, it's going to return false. Okay, so that is ambush. So the exact same thing for defender. I believe that's, is that not? Use defender. Check is defender. Same thing. So if we get down here, it's going to return true. It is defender. And the second part is he has +2 attack while he has been targeted by an ability. So there's a callback if he's targeted. On targeted. So we don't care if the target is not us. So if it is us, targeted by an ability. This has to be check. Targeted by ability, there's a special setting, special flag. Manager. Let's search for it. I know it's called is attacking, but I don't know where exactly it is. Ah, that's why I didn't know where it was. Let's just make sure it's here we go. So we want something like this. Always good to search in the code so you make sure you're doing the right thing. So if it is attacking, then we don't care. It has to be an ability. So that if we got here, that means we were targeted. So we're sort of going to turn it on. +2 attack while he has been targeted by an ability this turn. So we're going to set a flag. I'm going to make sure it's false, and in this case, we're going to turn it on. And the actual thing to do, +2 attack, is another callback. Attack value change. Not us, we don't care, 0 change. And if the ability is not active, 0 change. Otherwise, we're going to return 2, which is +2 attack. If he's targeted, he's going to get 2 +2 attack, but it's only this turn. We're going to turn that off. I'm just breezing through this because I got to try to do them all. That should be all the code that's needed for this entire ability. So he gets 2. The other thing we could do is the pop-up help to sort of show that he has the ability. What is a good... I think a good thing was Who's a good template for that? Might be Alden 32. Let's go check card 32. Just gonna copy some code from this guy. There we go. So here's sort of the template for this. So in this case, we only care about ourselves. Let's simplify this. So we can copy it easier in the future. It's more generic. It says the card name. It's going to be +2 attack. So as long as this is active, it's going to say +2 attack. Ambush and Defender pop-up help is already going to be taken care of by that. So let's go check out this card now. See if it actually works. Okay, let's go into test mode. I actually want to give this card to the AI. So now it says Pack Outcast. Let's give it to the AI. Give the AI some resources and let him cast it. Outcast, it costs 2. Correct. 1, 4. So has Ambush and Defender while he's the only ally you control. So there's 2, or there's 3. If he doesn't have that yet, let me get rid of the other ones to see if that part is working. We got a buff because he was targeted, and then but then he dies, so that works. Got 2. Let's kill the other guy. Gets the buff, but then dies. Oh, yeah, Ambush and Defender. Sweet. +2 attack while he's been targeted by an ability. Let me just check to make sure that attacks don't give him the buff. Feed. Kill him. Okay. Somebody that has haste. Oh yeah, Christopher Wild. Look at that. This guy's better for testing, so we're gonna attack and make sure it doesn't get the buff. He has Defender, so but he was targeted and he didn't get the buff. So that is working. I want to verify that. Is there any other... Okay, with the weapon, I guess what's a weapon? Frying pan. Always love frying pan. So I can attack, he's gonna attack me first, but then I'm gonna do this. So he's targeted. He did get a buff when he was targeted. You see that? Oh wait, that was an ability. I used my ability. Did the ability. So the default now is using the ability. So that's why he did get the buff. It was the hero ability. Just gonna do that again to double, triple check. attacking. Ability will give the buff attacking. Yep. Okay, that card is done. Only thing that I can think of is that what if you have a card that has multi-targets, you target it and then you cancel. For example, Lightning Strike. This has two different targets. One, and then maybe I say cancel. See, it got the buff, and it shouldn't. So I need a callback canceling because technically it's been targeted, but I mean if it's canceled, I don't think the intention is that it gets the buff. It's kind of not fair. It's an exploit, then you could just buff it. So I have to. I don't think there is actually an on canceled callback. On cancel, okay. That's only if itself is canceled. That's not what we want. It's only if itself is canceled, but let's just check. If anything else uses this. So here is kind of the code, but we're only calling cancel against the only one card. We want to know when anything is canceled. Okay, so we don't actually have an on canceled callback yet, but it's easy enough to make it. All the callbacks happen in game model. Game model. You can see there's a million different things. So we're gonna copy on card exile just for the sake of something. We're gonna call it card canceled. Then we need a new thing here. Enum that's gonna be on card. Cancel. Definition. Let's make a brand new thing. Add it at the end. This is going to be a brand new callback. These are the lists of callbacks. Anytime any one of these things happens, all the cards get a callback. And there's also check callbacks. Check if something has haste, ambush, a lot of different stuff. Oh, can use haste and check has haste, stuff like that. So these are all the different callbacks. What we want to do, copy that code. So callback on card exile. Let's go there. So this is going to do, yep, it's going to give it to everything. And in here, we need to actually call a method. Canceled. Function is going to be called on cancel. And then gives what card was canceled. It's going to be something new. It doesn't exist yet. this was the template. Copy that on card cancel. Default is to do nothing. We don't care if a card is canceled. So now we actually have to call it. So this is on card canceled when it normally gets called. It is still going to call it on itself with this function, but we also want to do we also want to cancel. Canceled. This is the current card that's being used and it's canceled. That will get the callback to everybody. Here is another place where we have to call it. A little bit more tricky. So this is in cancel targeting. Cancel. I think it's safe to say we can just not sure where we would want it. If we want to clear the targets first, or if we want to save the targets, probably would want it in the future, maybe. Let's call it right there. I'm gonna do the card callback. So that's player controller. We also need the same thing in replay controller. Cancel before we clear the targets. So that is it. Now we can use that on card. There it is, on card canceled. So basically, if we were targeted, we want to save the last thing that targeted us. So and then if we're canceled, if it is this targeted by, so if it was the last one, then you're not going to use the ability anymore. Turn it off because it was canceled. There is a slight problem that if we do multiple targets and the last one was canceled, we don't want to turn it off. I think we're only going to set it if the ability is not active. Record who made us active. Otherwise, there we go. I think that's good for that card. Let's double check. Now, if we cancel the lightning strike, it should not get the buff, or take the buff away anyways. Okay. resources. Lightning strike. It's targeted if we cancel. Ah, did not get it. We do it. How much is lightning? I think it's just 2. 3. Now it's buffed. So if we do another one, cancel it, the buff does not go away. I think that card is completely done. That took a little bit longer because we had to write a whole new callback, but it's there for the future if any card cares about stuff that are canceled. Let's pack Outcast. Let's go on to number 2. Keeper of the Mystic Flame. First thing to do. The common, so this is usable by mage and priest. Mage and priest. An ally. It has arcane damage. Arcane is actually magic. Maybe I should change that. If we do that, it's gonna update like 100 code files and change everything that's using arcane to use this. Used to be magic, now it's called arcane. Properly match it. Casting cost is 4, attack 2, health is 6. So let's think about this now. When an opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn, its controller takes 1 fire damage. So that was actually very similar to what we just did in card 1. Let's just bring this back. Targeted, so we have on targeted, so it's similar. Just cancel, delete that too. And we're going to copy these useful variables. Set the defaults. The opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn. So it can be anybody. So we don't care. The target has to be an opposing ally. So if the owner side is the same as our owner side, it's our card, it's not opposing, so we will not care about it. If it's not an ally, we don't care about it. Targeted by an ability, so this is ability. What's attacking? We won't care about it. On your turn, if it's not our turn, we don't care about it. So, opposing ally ability on our turn. Okay, so all that's checked. Its controller takes 1 fire damage. So it's targeted, but we don't want to do it right away because we can cancel it, right? If we do it right away, it's just going to do the damage and then we cancel it and the damage is already done. So that's why we saved it. We'll take it away if it's canceled, but if it's actually cast. Card cast. So if the card was cast that we just tracked, so the card's not equal to the card that we targeted. Maybe it's not targeted by, but it's targeted. Yeah, we want to save the card that is targeted, not the targeter. Let's save this targeted. All right. So if it is not the card that's targeted, we don't care. So if we got here, that means it has been cast, and we do our magic, which is its controller takes 1 fire damage. So we get hero for the card. I have to be aware that sometimes the hero can, like in the campaign, sometimes there is no hero. If there is a hero, damage it. What are we doing? 1 fire damage, so it's 1. The attacker. Source of the damage is us. We are an ally, so combat damage. It's not combat damage. This can't be. Damage type is fire. There we go. So we're doing 1 fire damage from that ally. Alright. That's the first part. When opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn. That's a lot of checks. What we have to do also is if we get down here, we can kind of reset that. Forget about it. I guess we don't need 2 variables, we just need 1. Because it's not something that's always on, it happens every time, so let's just use 1. Anytime it's canceled, we can just, if anything's canceled, it's going to be null, that's fine. And if we use it, if it's not canceled, this will get called. And I'll set it to null. Okay, that's pretty good. Yep. So the next part is an activated ability for 0 shadow energy. This is the flag that it's using shadow energy. Just gonna copy this down to the ability. So this is the activated ability. Oh, we also have to check if we can do this. Remember, we have to check for if we can use passives. use passives. Can't do anything. So that's the passive ability. The active ability. So zero shadow energy. There is ability cost. You're gonna return 0. Cost 0. Number of ability targets. There's actually no ability targets for this. Oh, so we also have to track if an opposing ally was targeted by ability this turn. So we do have to track that. So after all that, we do need that variable. Opposing ally was targeted by an ability. Oh man, wait, it's this turn. So this is a slightly different case because it's any opposing ally by any ability. Maybe this card isn't even on the board yet. So we cannot just have the code in here. It's not going to be good enough. This has to be sort of a global thing that we track. Opposing ally was targeted by an ability this turn. Oh man. So that's a little wrinkle. I'm probably not going to solve that. I'm just going to put a to do for now. The global. I'm going to do it in the simple case now, and I'll do the other stuff later. Basically, we need a variable. Opposing ally was targeted by ability this turn. And we do have a bunch of these game already. So it's the same idea. Targeted card. Actually, we want that to happen each time. This is trickier. Targeted card. Yeah, I think that's okay. So we're going to set that to null, but we're going to keep this variable so it's always there until end turn. Start. So if an opposing ability was targeted, so can use ability. If that's false, then we can't use the ability. Otherwise, we can. So opposing ally was targeted by ability this turn. 2 used resources are renewed. Two used resources are renewed. Our function for that. Resources. That's nice. Okay, that's about it. There's 0 cost. There's 0 targets. Checks if we can use the ability. When we use it, 2 resources are renewed. I think that's all the code. Now, of course, there is this to do. This shouldn't be in here. It has to be outside the card. But we'll just check it first. Make sure this card is working. This is getting annoying. Maybe I'll just beat this level. Alright, let me check this code again. When an opposing ally is targeted by an ability. Okay, so I'm gonna give myself this card. Keeper of Mystic Flame. Controller takes 1 fire damage, so if I target an ally. This actually doesn't. When an opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn, its controller takes 1 fire. So let's target this by an ability like Lightning Strike. Not too many cards. Lightning Strike. So we're gonna cancel and make sure that it doesn't do anything. You're gonna use the ability. Its controller did not take fire damage. An opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn. Its controller takes 1 fire damage. Whose controller? With the ally's controller? When an opposing ally is targeted by an ability, its controller takes 1 fire damage. Okay, that didn't happen. I can use my ability now. Let's see if it gives me back resources. Give me back 2 resources. That's good. That part is working. Let's verify next turn that I cannot use the ability until I target. Freeze it. That's one that could use sound effect. And that's probably not the best animation for that either. Just write down freezing grip that I need better effects. I need another. Not use it anyway. Until wait the next turn. Yeah, so I can't use my ability, so that part is working. But the opposing ally is targeted is not. Let me check this whole code. Targeted. No, I wonder if this is. It just gets the side. If the owner's side is our side, target, right? Care about the target. It's not an L. Attacking, we don't care. If it's not our turn, we don't care. I think I'm gonna have to step through it and see what is wrong. I don't fully understand that. Set a breakpoint. It's building, it's ready. There we go. Okay, so now when we run it, it will stop at that exact point in the code. Oh, this is actually the AI is thinking now. Getting best moves. I probably shouldn't enable this just yet until I'm ready. Okay, now I can enable it. Now what do we want to do? Opposing ally is targeted by an ability on your turn. So let's give myself an ability. Making strike. Target. Okay. So it gets called right away. Untargeted. It's gonna check if we can use passive abilities. That's fine. Target owner side is 1. My owner side is 0. That's fine. Card type is an ally. That's fine. It's attacking is false. Her side, that's fine. This is false. So we set the targeted card to target. We set that to true. Targeted cards. So we want, it's probably somewhere down here. Huh. Is on card cast not get called? Set the break point there and continue. So we get done. Yeah, it gets called. It is not the card that we were expecting because the card cast, of course, is not the targeted card. The ally was not cast. Not the ally that was cast, the target of this. Is it? I don't know. How do you get the targets of the card? Targets. Red script. Targets. It is called targets. Protected. You can't normally get the targets. But maybe we don't want that protected. Can't access it. Public. So if the card that was cast, which was the Lightning Bolt, does not contain, the targets does not contain the targeted card, which is the ally, then we don't care about it. Otherwise, there we go. Small problem there, but that should fix it. Check there, but maybe we don't even need this. We just need to check. Because if we're doing a target, and this is going to be either one of these are going to be has to be called. So we don't even need this. It's going to be one or the other that's going to be called. Leave it in for now. I'm just not sure at this point if it cleared the targets or not. Yeah, okay. Try it one more time. Mystic Flame. Tested the ability. Can't use it yet because no one's been targeted. Doesn't have any allies. You can try to make sure it doesn't work on the hero. So you should only take 3 from the lightning. It didn't take an extra one. Didn't take an extra fire. Ability is not active because there's only a opposing ally. To give him some allies. Let's give him. Make sure he's has to cast ally. Come on, you can do it. Strike. So his hero should take 1 fire damage. Canceling doesn't. Deal with it. 1 damage. There we go. And ability, I can get 2 resources, so I'm at 5. Use the ability. 7. So this card is working great. Only thing is that if we do this part before the card came into play, we cannot use it. That was the to-do. So we need to make this ability outside of the card and put it in game model. Game model does have a bunch of these already. There's a lot of pretty particular cases like this that we have to track. There's a whole list of them somewhere. In game data. So here's a bunch of the different things that we track. Normally it's stuff happening this turn. Hero attacked this turn. Opposing ally was killed by friendly Ravager this turn. That's pretty specific, isn't it? These are all the things that we have to track this turn. Things that were discarded this turn. So we don't have opposing ally was targeted this turn. Opposing ally was killed this turn. Opposing woman ally was killed this turn. So we have to add it in. This. Default is false. Opposing ally was targeted by an ability this turn. And we also need who that ally was in case it is cancelled. Opposing ally was targeted by an ability this turn ally. That's just going to save it so that if it's cancelled, then we can turn this off again. Now, where do we do this? Instead of calling it on targeted here, we want the same effect, but outside, like whatever called this untargeted. So what actually calls this? Callback untargeted. Right there. So this is where we would do the special case. And it's going to be called game data. Right? Yep. So if it's false, we're going to set this. Target. We're going to set this to true. So this is sort of a global thing that any card can access this now. Now we also want the global on cancel. On card cancel. So if wait, cancel it's not the ally we care about. Who's targeted? We care about what card was cast. Just rename that. It's not the target that we care about. We care about the card that was actually cast. Because when that card is cancelled, then we no, we have to do the checks as well, because we have to check if it's an ally and blah 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 blah. All those same checks. Let's just do that before we forget. Basically, let's just copy this. We need most of these checks. So it has to be an opposing ally was targeted. Opposing, so on your turn, or this turn. Oh yeah, this turn. Wasn't ally was targeted by an ability this turn. This doesn't matter. So if using okay, this should be it. So if we target the same side that it's the turn, then we don't care. Okay, so let's go to the canceled. One card canceled. So if card not so it does set it, and then if it's canceled, it takes it away. If it was the last one, if it's not the last one, it's gonna stay to the first one, so that's fine. Now instead of this, don't want this. Want this the variable I want outside. And only for this. So this is in model. There we go. Don't set this directly. Don't care about this directly. Okay, so that was moved outside. Now we just need the on turn and on turn start. Make sure to clear that variable. So on turn. Yeah, it's not actually a function. Here it's going to be on end turn. Turn. At the end of the turn, this is where we're resetting all these. When we make a copy, we want to copy that stuff. And that is about it for these new variables. Let's see if that still works. Is there an error? So we are just finishing up the second campaign card. Did say I was gonna beat this level. Keep forgetting. Let's beat it so I don't forget anymore. Just click here. No, I thought I was here. I have to be in test mode and then click there. Used to be I could kill him just by clicking there. Maybe I got rid of that. Anyways, Keeper of Mystic Flame. The new card we're working on. So we want to make sure that this happens outside of when the card is cast. Because it says this turn to use resources are renewed. So we need allies for the AI. Let him cast something. Gotta use the ability first. Strike. Oh, the ability is targeting something. Then we cast this. Can't use it yet. It doesn't have haste. What can give another card haste? Rogues could give it haste. He's searching for haste. That's Lance. Otherwise, you summon have haste. So maybe Portal. I don't know if that works for stuff that I already summoned. Yeah, that's kind of cheap. It doesn't work for allies. I guess it didn't say this turn, so let's summon that again. And it will get haste. And yes, I can use the ability because this turn, a long time ago, but this turn I did target an opposing ally with an ability. So, that seems to be working fine. It's a little bit complicated example, but we know that this card is fully working now and it has haste. And I forgot to win the battle again. That's all right. We will move on to card number 3. Lightning Elemental. Lightning Elemental can be used by Mage and Elemental. Dual class card. An ally with electrical attack. cost of 2, 3 attack, and only 1 health. That's pretty low. The ability: when lightning elemental is killed, the opposing ally with the lowest health takes X electrical damage, where X is the amount of shadow energy your hero has stored, to maximum of 4. Okay, I think this is going to be an easy one. Now, when something is killed, the gold standard of that, of course, the first one is Deathbone. When Deathbone is killed, something happens. So let's look at 41 and steal the code, because it is a bit complicated. Before damage, and then destroyed. There's a bunch of checks because it can be killed by health reduction. There's different methods that it can be killed. So we're just going to copy this and change the code just to make sure we don't introduce any bugs in this new thing. So lastly, damage. Check that we can use passives. Check that it is us. This is just searching for lethal damage. That's all fine. Destroyed. So this is sort of the actual effect. That's a good point. We didn't sort of use any effects. This doesn't need an effect. This could use a special effect for renewing the resources. Like a fire effect on the hero. But we're just gonna ignore that for now. It's not like a direct effect. Maybe we can use it on this card. That's just damage. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and modify it. So this card, when lightning elemental is killed, the opposing ally with the lowest health takes X electrical damage. So first we have to get the opposing ally with the lowest health. Okay. Opposing ally with the lowest health. Loop through the opposing allies. Save. Less than the lowest, then we're gonna set the lowest. Set the ally. We did find an ally, we're gonna do something like this. Yeah, so this is actually caring about who the source is, because Deathbone did damage to the source, who killed him. In this case, we're just doing the damage to the opposing ally with the lowest health. Actually, We don't know whose turn it is, so this function might not be correct. To be correct, let's specify the side and the other side, 1 minus 1 side. This can be called an either turn, so this make sure it's checking the opposing, no matter what turn it is. So how much damage are we doing? X is the amount of shadow energy your hero has stored to maximum 4. So damage equals hero can be null. By default, it's 0. Your hero a maximum of 4. Max 4 damage. We actually don't care about the source. So what is the damage now? Electrical damage. So it's the ally. It's gonna be damaged by. Technically, he's taking the damage from Lightning Elemental. So if Lightning Elemental does damage to Deathbone, then nothing's gonna happen. The Lightning Elemental is dead already. So the hero can't take Deathbone's damage. It's this dead Lightning Elemental that should take the damage. So that's not combat. Damage type. Electrical damage. So that is the effect. He's going to do electrical damage. So if we found an ally looking for the lowest health. Oh, the lowest can't be negative. That's too low. The lowest has to be something really high, so that the first one is going to be lower than that. Okay, I think that is all for this card. Let's check it out. So we're gonna have a Lightning Elemental. We'll give the AI fireballs, and then his lowest health ally is going to take damage according to my heroes. Energy. Okay, that's complicated. All right. It's slower to go on this node. Maybe I'll just give him some resources and see what he does for a bit. Oh, fireballs. Alright, I'm gonna have to force him to play something. has Jasmine. I'm gonna use some of my shadow energy. Then come up here. That's a lot of peons. So the lowest health is going to be the first one with the lowest health. Should be the damage to the peon. E3, like mental. Now you have to get someone to kill that. Make sure they have fireman. Hopefully, or maybe an ally will attack it. Someone has to kill that. So the fact is, when it's killed, the opposing ally with the most health, he's gonna take not 5 but 4. Give me this peon. See what happens. What is he gonna do? Oh, so I got an error. Actually, see what the error is. This card. Something was out of range. 0 less than always can. Oh, side index. So that's side. It's supposed to be side, then the index. Supposed to be side index. I have to do that all over again. Okay. Get things set up again. He needs Jasmine for a high health. Resources. Self resources. I need to give him resources. Resources. I want our new card. Lightning Elemental. Not gonna cast it yet. What I could do is damage it. Strike. So now it's this card that should take 4 damage, die. And this card. So hopefully he will attack it. Fireball. Hopefully someone will attack this. But I think he knows that that's gonna die, so maybe it died. Yep. That one took the damage. Perfect. That's about it for that card. It's a bit easier, straightforward. Lowest health ally gets the damage. Ah, that's alright. Let's go on to number 4. Ah, the Slithering Viper. Did I put the name? Might need, okay. Slithering Viper. Slithering Viper is Hunter and Rogue. Their dual class used by a Hunter. Rogue. Ally, it's a wild type. Wild. It's wild. It's claw attack. Forecast cost, 2 attack, 3 health. Stealth. Stealth is luckily easy to do. Keywords. It's like a keyword ability. Stealth. And that's all it needs to get stealth. When Slithering Viper enters play, or when it is discarded from anywhere, the opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned, and it is disabled for 1 turn. Now I clarified what it means, what the definition of it is. I think that was a quote. It is disabled. The opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned, and so it's clear that it's the ally that's disabled. So when it enters play, something enters play, it's just gonna be cast, right? So this is a special thing that when itself is cast. So we don't care if it's returning to play. Maybe I should search that enters play. Let me just search that. When Windward Damer enters play. Let's check that to make sure that we're getting the right thing. What enters play is just on cast. What enters play? So on summon is probably what we want. Let's use on summoned. On summon gets called special thing for allies. It is also when it's returned to play. So it's technically not summon, but it's enters play. Maybe I should rename it. If you just want summon, there's another check you have to do. Maybe I should rename it now. Just remember later. We're not ourselves. We don't care. Enters play or discarded. So we're gonna do that later. The opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned. Going to reuse code. It happens in 2 cases. This is enters play, or when it's discarded from anywhere. So what's discarded from anywhere? This. Know that exists. when reactory is discarded from anywhere. Okay, when Tenacious Rebel is discarded. It's more like this one. When Flightbird Runt is discarded from anywhere. Pretty simple. After discard from anywhere. Okay, yeah. We will keep that comment to make sure that we understand that it's when that card is anywhere. Let's do the effect. And we don't care about the side. So the effect, we also need to make sure that we can use passive abilities. We do passive abilities for here, yes. Here, yes. Always forget about that. It's Learian Diplomat that can remove passive abilities. There's a bunch of other cards. Opposing allies. So after discard, so in either case, the opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned and disabled on turn. That's the effect. Opposing ally with the highest attack. So we just did something like this. Lowest health, highest attack. It's kind of the same idea. Highest attack now. Highest is going to be a really low number. This is the opposing allies. Let's check the attack. That's greater than the highest attack. We have a new highest. Let me save it. Opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned. Is poisoned, and the source is us. For example, Deathbone. If someone poisons Deathbone and Deathbone dies, he remembers who poisoned it, and that person takes Deathbone's death damage. And disabled for one turn. For one turn. Is it just one? So I want to check anytime we use this disable. Poison the hero and poison disable. Disable for one turn. Yep. Target opposing allies, so it's very similar to that. In this case, the source of the poison is the hero because this is an ability card, but it's just like that. Disable. So this is what I wanted to check and make sure that it has checks to make sure that it can be disabled or not. And it does all the effects, so sounds good. That is about it for this card, right? Stealth, enters play, or discarded. There we go. And this handles return to play as well. Otherwise, it would say when it is summoned, it enters play. This gets called in either case. check other people that use unsummoned. So for example, card 27, when it enters play, yeah. So if we have is summoned instead of enters play, it's the same function, but we're checking summoned already. If it re-enters play from the graveyard, this would be true because it's summoned already. Well, yeah, this function shouldn't be called on summoned. It should be enters play or summoned. Summoned or enters play, maybe. Okay. But I think I can't do a simple rename. Not sure if that will work. Yep, it did modify like 100 cards, so it's a lot more clear. And now it's unsummoned or into play. So now we'll know that if we cared, if it's summoned. Actually, summoned is like a type of entered place. Anyways, that's fine. Let's try it out. Good. Error. Where's the error? Where is there an error? Closing curly on there. Closing brace. Save it. So this is the 4th campaign card. So we need him to have some allies that can be disabled. The highest attack is disabled. Slithering Viper. Oh, it has stealth. Yep, stealth can be attacked. When Slithering Viper enters play, when it is the opposing ally with the highest attack is poisoned, and then it is disabled for one turn. Have to fix up the card text. I'll remember to do that later. Let's give him some allies. Highest attack. Let's give him one. And who else has an attack? Let's give him who else? Human allies. Let's give him Kurt be buffed. Well, not me. Give him a Kurt. Yeah, no. Click on the wrong card. Not Christopher Kurt. There you go. Okay. He will be buffed with 5 attack. Oh, he's going to be poisoned and disabled for 1 turn. This cost 4. Poison disabled. 1 turn remaining. Perfect. And stealth. Now all we need to do is test this card. Is there any card that can discard? This card. Serena does. Payday. When poisoning player starts their turn with at least 4 cards, they discard. Okay, so I give him Payday. He has 076. Payday, so I pay space. If I give him Payday, I want him to cast Payday. And then I want to start my turn with a lot of Slithering Vipers. So if I discard it, then he won't do the effect. Okay. As long as he casts this. Cast it, please. There we go. Cute. Discard. Oh, discarded the wrong one. So the highest attack, so that's good. So should have actually, just to check, I might have done that. What's it called? Below. Good check to make sure that it's going to do this middle one that has the highest attack. Oh, come on! I'm trying to test an effect here, man. Okay, well, it didn't crash. There's no allies, so it did nothing. I have to give him some. Okay. Sometimes it's a bit hard to set up these things, but here we go. Okay, now I need Payday for him. He doesn't have any cards, but he'll draw some. And I want another crippling blow to make sure that this middle one will get the effect. And I need more Slithering Vipers. Okay, try this again. There's the Payday. Thank you. And here comes the effect. It worked. It was discarded. 1 turn remaining on disable, and it's perfect. So that card perfectly. I keep forgetting that I have to kill this guy. Okay. Just what I won't have to sit through that attic opening at that mission. And we can move on to the fifth card. Arcane Anomaly. Priest and Elemental. Dual class card. It's an ally with Arcane Attack. Cost of 3, attack 2, max out is 4. Okay, so it's a similar effect. That should be easy. So when it is summoned, we already have this summon thing. It's just going to be summoned, so we don't need this. When it is summoned, target opposing ally takes 1 plus X arcane damage, where X is the number of other cards you have summoned this turn. Number of cards you have summoned this turn. Sounds like another thing we have to track globally. So it has a target. It's a bit different. It's like on summon with a target. So it actually has one target. I better search for the template. I know this happens a lot. Easier if you find this another card that you don't have to think. Here's the exact same thing. When something is summoned, target opposing ally, something. This is the template that we want to use. This is why, because different things happen. We can cast it even when there's no targets. A lot of stuff here. This is the important stuff. This ability it loses all passives, like I talked about before. That's the card that we always have to check if we can use passives on this. I'm going to paste all that code. So there we go. Target opposing ally takes 1 plus X arcane damage. Number of other cards you have summoned. So when we cast it, if we have a target, so it's just going to be target 0. We don't need all this. So it's 1 plus X arcane damage. Number of other cards you have summoned this turn. I'm pretty sure if we track this, we're going to include ourselves. So I'm not going to do this. You don't have to worry about 1 plus other, it's just number of cards on this turn. This is something that we have to track globally. Let's do that in a second. So, 0. So take this damage. It's gonna be the source is gonna be us. That's not special. Damage type is arcane damage. So all we have to do is track number of other cards you have summoned this turn. So it's going to be on cast. Let me just check if there's anything like that in game model. Because I know there's a bunch of other similar things. It was game data. I wasn't a game data. So, is there anything about summoned? Ally summoned this turn. These allies entered play this turn, which is different than summoned. Undead ally was summoned. Ability was summoned this turn. Item was summoned this turn. Number of attachments summoned this turn. So it's very similar to this. Okay. And a bunch of cards use that. Basically, we are going to do the same thing, except we are going to call it number of cards summoned this turn. Just any card. Very close to that, but any card. One before card cast. What is this? This is can return to owner's hand. Not sure why that was increased there. If it is return to hand. I don't think that. Oh, this is the special card. Yeah, these are just code and special cards. I want this code. This. Zero. There we go. So these are all the special things. The ability summon, location summon this turn. If it's anything else, it's just number of cards summoned. But that doesn't seem. It seems like it's only abilities, locations. It doesn't seem like it's doing it for allies. I wonder if this is gonna call here for allies as well. I think it should. It might not. We check about the allies summon this turn. Like this, the last ally summon this turn. Allies summon this turn. Yeah, this is actually an add ally. I think I have to put it in here. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm gonna try it. North card summon this turn. Gonna try that. So back to our number 4. So number 5. Number 5. We're at number 5. Okay. Data. Just gonna test it if it works on allies, if it does 1 or 2. So the effect is when it's summoned, target opposing ally takes 1 plus X other cards you have summoned this turn. This is the card Campaign 5, gonna be the last card. Running out of time. Hopefully it will work. Okay, we're gonna give him some humans. Hopefully gives something with a bit more health. Resources, new resources, and more. Okay. Okay, number of cards summoned. So let's summon. If we play this, it's gonna be 2 damage, right? Number of other cards. It's gonna be 2 damage. Or that's way more than it should be. See, it's getting double. It's getting double. That confirms that we did not need that extra place that I put it, which is right here. We don't need that. Already taken care of in the general case. And let's quickly retest it for the last time. Seems like a good card though. On summon damage, as always, seems to be very popular. You can surprise your opponent with it. So, Jasmine, resources, working anomaly. So let's do 1. Cast 1. We should do 2 damage. 2 damage, and now we cast 2. We're gonna do 3 damage. Let's do item. So that's 4 damage. We should do 4 damage now with only 4 damage. Nice, perfect. Oh, everything seems to be working fine. I guess we should make sure that it resets the next turn, actually back to 0. Maybe we need a pop-up that'll say x equals 4 or whatever. Cool. Oh, we didn't cast anything yet. It should be just 1 damage with this. Perfect. And finally, let's test it. Do you have to target? What if you don't want to target? I guess you can not target. Always valid to not target, I guess. Perfect. So that's about it for today. We did 5 campaign cards. Didn't quite make it to the 6th. 6th was Crimson Eye the Deceiver. Attacks another random opposing ally if able. Ambush. This another one that's pretty easy because this is the effect that happened in another card, so it's just a combination of different cards. But we'll have to get to that next time. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the new campaign cards. Until next time, bye bye.